In Whitehall's General Assistance Department, Richard Lamb is involved in a problem of bookkeeping.
It's a problem, Mildred. I don't know where to keep my library books.
Yeah, the office is getting a bit cluttered. You know, we'd have more room if you threw out your stuffed vulture.
Throw out Oscar? Oh, I couldn't.
Mr. Lamb is hideous. He's all hunched up with those hooded eyes and that long, scrawny neck. You go a long way to find another like him.
Morning to all. Mildred?
Oh, I don't know, though. Morning, Mr. Lennox Brown.
Morning, Ron.
What don't you know, Mildred?
Hey?
Hmm?
Where to put Mr. Lamb's library books, sir?
Oh, I see, yes. Well, why don't you clear the top of the filing cabinet, too? All these little glass bowls with bits of wet sponge in them.
They're government issue.
Well, I know, but you only want one. And they're intended for sticking stamps, not growing mustard and cress. And all this junk. Why do you keep that broken egg timer in the shape of sooty?
It only cost me 9p.
Yes, I'm not surprised. Every time he turns sooty over, the sand falls straight out of his ears onto your papers.
He just won't be told.
But some of this junk is useful. I mean, there's my ivory letter opener.
Yes, it'll come in handy if we get any ivory letters. You hear that, Mildred? Ivory letters, you see. Oh, dear me. Go and make the tea, Mildred.
Righty-ho, sir.
Yes. Well, now, what are these library books you've got to?
They're all about the wonders of the human body, Ron. Did you know we're 98% water?
Not all of us do. Sir Gregory Pitkin is 98% gin and tonic.
It's a marvelous thing, the human body. As I understand it, each one of us is a sort of parcel, all full of muscle and bone and squidgy bits. Not being too technical for you, am I?
Oh, no. I know a bit about these things, too. Yes. For instance, if all your interior piping was laid out in a straight line down Whitehall, do you know what the result would be?
I'd be dead.
2 miles. That's what. Or was it 2 yards? Anyway, it is surprising, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yes.
Hello, Lennox Brown.
Pitkin here. What are you doing at the moment?
Oh, just straightening out some internal things, Sir Gregory.
What about that job I sent you last week? Finish it yet?
John? Last week? Oh, yes, almost, Sir Gregory, almost. Yes. What job?
The Inland Revenue job.
Ah, Lamb's got that under his sooty right now.
What?
Yes, under his scrutiny right now. Yes.
Gosh, mark my words, Lennox Brown, the sands are running out.
Oh, yes, so they are.
Never heard that nonsense. You take me for a perfect fool, Lennox Brown.
Oh, Sir Gregory. None of us is perfect.
You haven't even started on that job. Now get on with it.
Oh, dear, Tilly won't be put off, you know. Pass over that large box file, will you?
Righto, One. What's inside it?
A large box. Here we are, full of invoices and statements of money paid out by government departments. We've got to go through all of them.
What for?
Well, to make sure that the people who received the money declared it on their income tax returns.
I see. We're going to be petty, nosy Parkers.
Oh, no. Well, we're going to be public-spirited, selfless, dedicated, idealistic nosy Parkers. Right, come on, let's get on with it. Payment to Ancro Aircraft Corporation for the TSR-3 strike aircraft, £100 million.
TSR-3? Did it ever actually go up?
Yes, to £200 million. That's why they cancelled it.
Well, they paid their tax. It's stamped. Next item?
9pence halfpenny paid to Amalgamated Brass Foundries for 1 regimental button. I say, that's a bit steep. 9pence halfpenny.
They paid the tax, though. It's stamped.
Tea again. Oh, Mr. Lamb, why are you lying on the floor with your feet up on the desk?
It helps me concentrate, Mildred. The blood runs from my feet to my head, you see.
Well, I don't see how a head full of foot blood can help you concentrate.
Well, Mr. Lamb has more room in his head than most of us, Mildred. Oh, dear, pour the tea, will you, dear?
Oh, yes, sir.
The human body is full of amazing things. For instance, did you know my appendix is only half an inch long and serves no useful purpose whatsoever? It's in this library book.
That's a funny place to keep your appendix.
Oh, I don't know. A lot of books have an appendix in them. Appendix, you see, Mildred. In the book, it's the... Oh, that'll do, Miss Bunty. Shut the door behind you.
Whitehall's Bernie Winters.
Oh, no sense of humour, that girl. Old Rudge used to study the human body, you know. Only his own, mind you. Couldn't get it anyone else's.
Rudge at the Board of Trade?
Yes. He held the theory that wearing wool next to the skin rotted the brain.
I can see his point. I mean, sheep do it, and they're pretty stupid.
Anyway, come on, let's get back to work now. What's next?
Well, there's a statement here for, let me see, it's a bit faded.
Yeah?
£240 in respect of 3 dozen guns.
Oh, what company?
Nathaniel Tweedy, gunsmith, 2 Cheese Lane, London EC1.
Oh, wait a minute. Tweedy. Now, we've no record of income tax being paid on that sum. I think we may be onto something here.
Shall I send him a letter?
No. Sir Gregory wants results. We'll go round and confront this Tweedy fellow. They're all the same, these armaments manufacturers, living off the fat of the land at public expense.
Tea, Mr. Smart?
Very kind of you, Mr. Tweedy.
I'm afraid there's no milk and there's no sugar, but the tea bag's only been used once.
Much?
Oh, well, I bought them to celebrate...
Business. As your lawyer, Mr. Tweedy, I have to point out that your affairs are in a very bad state.
So are these chocolate fingers. They're all mildew there. I'll just go and put them down the...
This is no time for levity.
Well, I'll put them in the dustbin then.
Sit down, Mr. Tweedy. Do you realize that something very unpleasant is staring you in the face?
You mean you?
I mean ruin, bankruptcy, disgrace. You'll simply have to demand payment of money due from your customers. I mean, look at this one, for example. You're owed £90 by Lord Dogsmuir.
What? I can't demand money from me betters. It's against nature. He's a lord, he is. He's kissed Her Majesty's toe.
Yes, but that doesn't mean he shouldn't settle his bills. And here's another. £75 owed on a shotgun for Sir Eustace Cruddy.
Ah, I remember. A large bore.
I'm sure he is. And it's time you made him pay up.
Never. A gentleman's word is his bond. They'll all pay eventually.
Yes, but then it'll be too late. You'll be out of business.
Good afternoon. This is Tweedy, the gunsmith, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Now, don't forget, Mr. Tweedy, you know my views. Think them over. I'll be back later on. Excuse me, gentlemen.
Yes, of course. Now then, my good man, we're here about some guns.
I see. Well, what about these here rifles, then? Have a look down that barrel.
I say, steady on, please. Don't point it at me.
Well, they're quite cheap. I was going to put them up.
Do what?
Put them up.
Do as he says to. He was obviously expecting us.
Don't shoot. I'm on your side.
I'm only showing you the gun. Why have you both got your hands up?
Yes. The exercise, you know. Yes. Turns up the... yes. Now, look here. We're from the ministry. You are Nathaniel Tweedy, are you not?
Nathaniel? No, I'm Matthew Tweedy.
Then fetch Nathaniel immediately.
Oh, that'll be difficult.
Difficulties can be overcome.
He's dead.
Oh, yes, well, most difficulties can be overcome.
Dead, what a cunning trick. Just to get out of paying income tax.
Income tax?
Yes, on the £240 mentioned in this statement. I expect you're liable for it now.
Let me see that, sir. I'd better check this in the ledger.
They'll go to any lengths, some of these people. How long's he been dead?
About 300 years or so. Here's the entry. Now, I don't think I'm liable for income tax on this. For one thing, this statement appertains to 3 dozen flintlock muskets we sold in 1610.
Oh, yes. Still, I mean, a debt is a debt no matter how old it is.
And income tax wasn't invented then.
Well, that might be a consideration.
And not only that, according to this ledger, the government never paid the money in the first place. It's still owing.
Oh, yes. Well, perhaps under the circumstances we can be lenient.
Yes, but don't let it happen again, that's all.
Yes, exactly. Right, come along, too. Now we've put the fellow in his place. There's a little tea shop not far from here. The afternoon needn't be entirely wasted.
So I put my foot down with a firm hand and gave this Tweedy chap a piece of my mind.
Oh, why did you let him off then?
So there were technical reasons. We bent over backwards to be flexible.
Yeah, if you're going to bend over backwards and put your foot down with a firm hand, you've got to be flexible.
Yes. Actually, that paper shouldn't have been in the file at all. It was a few years old.
Oh.
Morning.
Oh, good morning, sir.
Morning, Ron. You're later than usual.
Quite. Yes, the train, you see. I dropped off.
Oh, it's a miracle you weren't injured.
Oh, no, Mildred. Oh, Mildred, please. I dropped off to sleep.
Oh.
Yes, it's the rhythm of the wheels that does it, you know. It's that chickety-boom, 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 chickety-boom.
That's funny. My train wheels go more sort of Alakazam, Second Deutsch, Leamington Star. How do you call that?
Oh, mine goes trumpy-jig, trumpy-jack, trumpy-jig,
Excuse me, this is General Assistance Department, isn't it?
Yes.
For a moment, I thought it was Paddington Station.
You see, we're in training for... what can we do for you, Mr...
Smart. Simon Smart, QC. I'm Matthew Tweedy's legal representative.
Oh, well, come through into the inner office. That's the idea. Now, sit down, won't you? You know, you remind me of someone, Mr. Smart. Yes, the face. It's familiar. Yes. Who could it be?
I'll just move my stuffed vulture from the chair.
That's it. Oscar. Yes, quite.
Now, firstly, gentlemen, there's the matter of the monies due on the 3 dozen muskets ordered from my client's firm in 1610. Prompt payment would be appreciated.
We're not paying you £240 after all these years.
Yes, I understand your feelings, gentlemen. However, if you just sign this acknowledgement of the debt...
No. Out of the question.
Oh. Well, in that case, there are other matters to be considered. I have here a writ of technical malfeasance and conjury.
By George, there's not many of those about.
There's quite a lot my client can sue you for if he chooses to, as any solicitor will tell you. Yesterday afternoon, you did willfully trespass on his bonded property, thereby engrossing his ancient lights.
I don't remember doing that.
He may insist on heavy damages for conspicuous barratry and displacement compounded by mispersonage. Unless, of course...
Yes, I see. Well, perhaps we ought to sign your bit of paper.
Yes. Well, it's purely a technicality. No need to wade through the small print.
Oh, very well, yes. Well, then perhaps we can get back to our planning.
And you can get back to your soliciting.
Yes. If you just sign there on the dotted line.
I see. There we are.
And now you, sir, if you'd sign as witness, just here.
Just here. Righto.
Right. Now, if you're quite finished, Mr. Smart. Excuse me.
Yes.
Hello?
Don't sign anything.
Pardon, Sir Gregory?
There may well be a legal shyster named Smart calling on you today.
Yes. Funny you should mention that, Sir Gregory.
Well, it's about some old bill we didn't pay. Now, I've been on to our legal department, and they say we're all right, as long as we don't sign anything. We mustn't admit liability at any cost. Understand?
Oh, dear.
I expect that was your superior. I sent him a copy of the document you signed, just to forestall any claim of habeas and veritat.
You've gone quite right, man.
Yes. Mind you, it's a lot of fuss about nothing, really. I mean, after all, the government won't be liable for much. £240. We spent 200 the other day on new casters for all the Ministry of Transport armchairs.
Yes, and they moved so smoothly that the minister insisted on having safety belts fitted. That cost a bit more.
Yes, exactly so. I mean, if it comes to the worst, we ought to be able to find £240.
Yes, indeed. Of course, that's just the capital sum. As it says in paragraph 2, there's 350 years of compound interest, plus penalty clauses. Your actual debt is now a little more.
How little?
£3,109,492, 7 shillings and twopence. However, my client is prepared to be magnanimous.
Oh, thank heavens.
He'll settle for a flat £3 million. Payable in 7 days, or we'll sue.
£3 million? Oh, I don't know what Sir Gregory will say when you tell him.
Well, he already knows the amount. What he doesn't know is that we've admitted liability. Don't fancy telling him that.
Perhaps we won't have to tell him. Perhaps we can raise the money ourselves.
Oh. What do you suggest we do, raffle your stuffed vulture?
Well, it's a wrench, but... all right.
We could have a bring and buy sale here in the office.
Yes, and I'll get Aunt Primrose to knit one of her car cozies for it.
Car cozies?
Well, they're really tea cozies, but they're inclined to run away with her.
And then this tombola.
Oh, do you think he could help? What's the problem here?
No, just a moment. Steady on now. Look, you're not being realistic. You're not being practical about this, are you? Now, here's my plan. Now, as you know, Sir Gregory is just about due to arrive on his monthly surprise visit.
Oh, yes. The unexpected check on our office accounts. He always comes at 2:30 on the last Friday in the month.
And that's today.
Exactly. Now, once he's heard our expenditure and signed the check, you see, it's his responsibility. Now, here's what I'm going to do.
You're going to get him drunk with the brandy from the first aid cupboard.
Oh, please, give me some credit for some subtlety, will you? No. My scheme is this.
Lennox man. Just thought I'd pop in unexpectedly and check over your office accounts.
Oh, what a surprise. Yes. Mildred, put the kettle on, will you? Sir Gregory's here. Sir Gregory.
Your chair's all ready, sir.
Thank you, Lamb, thank you. Now, what expenses have you run up this month, Lennox man?
Well, here we are, Sir Gregory. Item 1, 1 box of paper clips, 2 and 9pence.
Yes, all right.
1 typewriter ribbon, 6 shillings.
Yes.
1 HP pencil, 10pence.
Yes.
Quantity of flintlock muskets, 3 million pounds.
Yes.
1 box of rubber bands, 2 and 11pence.
Yes. Just a moment, Lennox man.
Oh, dear.
2 and 11pence for rubber bands? That's a bit steep, isn't it?
Well, Sir Gregory...
And what was that item directly before it?
The muskets. Sir Gregory, yes, 3 million pounds.
Oh, quick, you blundering fools! You did sign that for.
Well, we can explain.
Aha! And now you're trying to get me to take responsibility. Oh, no. No, I don't want to hear any more.
Sir Gregory...
Now you've got yourself into this. You get yourself out.
No.
You're not to pay out a penny. And another thing.
Yes, Sir Gregory.
In future, you'll buy cheaper rubber bands.
Well, Mr. Tweedy, since they haven't paid the money, the summons has been served on them. The case will be heard on Tuesday.
But I don't feel entitled to all that money, Mr. Smart.
Oh?
It's legal jiggery pocus. That's what it is. And hocus pokery and piggery and air. Are you going to put me on the stand?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, but even if we win, who'll pay? The government, that's who, yes. And where did they get the money, eh? From the taxpayer. That's me. I'm the taxpayer. I can't afford to pay me £3 million.
Nonsense. It's not like that at all. You'll be guided by me.
But I'd be suing myself.
Rubbish. Look, Mr. Tweedy, why don't you go and, look for more documents to substantiate our claim? Yes, that's it.
What? You mean go through all them old papers in the cellar? I'll be buried down there for days. I missed the grouse shooting season.
You're splendid. Yes, you do that.
Well, and the flubber trapping and the air coursing.
It'll be a great help, believe me. Meantime, I'll prepare our case.
Yeah.
No doubt they'll be doing the same. Probably got the top legal brains in the country working on it.
Yeah, and all I should like to
I say, Ron, I've discovered a cunning legal ruse that may help our case.
Oh, yes, what is it?
We plead guilty.
Well, you don't see a snag in me fighting this case personally.
A snag? What's that?
I've got you as my assistant.
No.
You should have hired proper lawyers.
Well, Sir Gregory said we mustn't spend a penny. That puts us in a difficult situation.
Yes, quite. Still, with the help of all these law books from the library, we should be able to hold our own.
Yes, I must say, some of these laws are a bit archaic. For instance, did you know that it's illegal for maidens to flaunt their wimples on a Sunday?
Quite right, too, yes. And according to this, it's still an offence for a bondsman to swoop his thwick in a public fountain.
Oh, I never knew.
Here you are. Now, this is the lot. You got every legal book I could find in the library. Phew. The librarian had a nasty accident when he got this lot off the top shelf. They all fell on him.
Oh, he felt the full weight of the law, eh? It's rather good, then, isn't it? Hey, Phil? Rather good.
Yes, let's see what Mildred's brought. Oh, here's an autobiography. Called to the Bar by Frederick Arbuthnot. Mildred, this is the Memoirs of a Publican.
Oh, I just got everything that sounded legal.
So I see. I took soap. Confessions of the Putney Knicker Thief.
The rest of them seem all right, Ron. By the time we've got through this lot, we'll be experts.
Yes. Oh, I'm beginning to look forward to the court case on Tuesday.
sorry I'm late, man.
Yes, it's all right, too. The judge isn't here yet.
Oh, good. I had a little accident, you see, just outside the courtroom. I dropped these heavy legal books on some fellow's foot. Oh, you should have heard his language.
That's probably what they call being sworn in. Yes. Incidentally, what the devil's that on your head?
It's my lawyer's wig. Actually, it's an old Davy Crockett hat, but I dusted it with flour.
Oh, I see. And this is your gown, is it? The old blackout curtain from the map cupboard.
Rather impressive, don't you think?
No, I have seen it. Oh, wait a minute. The clerk of the court stands.
Be outstanding for Mr. Justice Sittingshurst. Order.
2 pints, please.
Be seated.
I must apologize if I have kept the court waiting while I had medical attention. Several heavy books were dropped on me foot by some half-wit in fancy dress. Carry on, Mr. Poops.
The case of Tweedy versus the General Assistance Department. Mr. Justice Sittingshurst presiding.
Very well. Who are the counsel in these proceedings?
Smart, my lord, appearing for the plaintiff.
George Brown, my lord, appearing for defendant.
Yes. Assisted by the Butterfingers with the legal books.
I'm sorry, Your Grace.
My lord, I'd like to open the case for the defense by giving my summing up to the judge.
This does raise a few trifling legal points, Mr. Lennox Brown. There is no jury. I give the summing up, and in any case, the other side starts first.
Oh. Yes, well then, I demand permission to treat you as a hostile witness, my lord.
Yes. It's going to be a long and difficult case, I can see.
And that concludes the case for the plaintiff, my lord.
Lucidly put, Mr. Smart. Despite the constant trivial objections from the defense.
Objection!
Objection overruled!
Objection! I object to the objection being overruled.
You are being objectionable, aren't you? Now, will you please open the case for the defense?
Oh, very well. Call Vanessa Redgrave.
Call Vanessa Redgrave.
Call Vanessa Redgrave!
She doesn't appear to be present.
Oh, well, it was worth a try. Is Captain Kirby about?
You've had your chance to. I'll take over now.
My lord, on behalf of the defense...
Objection!
They're both of us on the same side. Yes.
Oh, I'll be here.
No, excuse me. I'd like to draw your attention to a legal precedent. The case of the tattooed astrologer, in which Perry Mason clearly showed...
Just a moment. That has nothing to do with this case. Anyway, as Mr. Hamilton Berger pointed out, the parrot had been bribed to give false evidence.
But Geller Street had accidentally duped the bird feed.
It doesn't matter. The entire precedent was reversed the following night in the defenders.
I shall appeal to Edgar Luscar.
I object, my lord.
Why?
I haven't got a television set.
And so, as we draw towards the end of this unusual case, it is my duty to attempt a summing up. The defense has introduced several unexpected witnesses. Experts in model aeroplane flying, mushroom cultivation, and surgical footwear. I shall not allow this to cloud the issue. The plaintiff's barrister has shown great patience, even when the defense introduced a camel into the evidence, for reasons which I still cannot fully comprehend. Now, it is my duty in this case to be absolutely impartial between, on the one hand, the lucid, legally trained, polite Mr. Smart, and on the other, the sly, sensation-seeking, avaricious minions of bureaucracy, Lennox Lemon Brown.
Mr. Smart, something's happened. I must see you.
Good Lord, it's old Tweedy. He's conferring with Smart.
Now's our chance to seize the psychological advantage, man. Let's run for it.
Up to it.
Order! Order! Now, Mr. Smart, have you something to say?
My lord, my client has found something in his cellar that rather alters the complexion of this case.
And what has he found?
I found the 3 dozen flintlock muskets, my lad, which means Nathaniel never delivered them to the government in the first place.
Well, of course, Mildred, the judge had no alternative but to dismiss the case.
You mean you started out by trying to tax old Tweedy on money he hadn't received for goods he hadn't delivered?
Something like that, yes. Still, Sir Gregory's pleased with us, you know. Yes, when he ignored me on the train this morning, he did it more politely than usual.
And Tweedy's all right. I hear he's auctioned the original muskets at Sotheby's. They're antiques now, so he got quite a lot of money for them. Covered everyone's costs and left himself a nice net profit.
Yes, everybody's come out quite well, considering. Smart got a lot of publicity out of the case, you know.
He's flying off to Hollywood to organise the divorce of Jar Jar Hutton, the film star.
Jar Jar Hutton, but she's not married at the moment.
Not yet. He's going to organise that first.
Even we, of course, you know, had our moment of triumph in the courtroom.
I got quite carried away.
You certainly did, Mildred. He pulled the judge's wig over his eyes and conducted the public gallery in singing "We Shall Overcome."
Oh, he did have a sense of humour.
It's a pity the judge didn't. Contempt of court, wasn't it?
Yes.
Well, visiting hours are up. We'll try and pop in again next week, too. Come on, Mildred. I hate the smell of these prisons.
Don't forget the case with the final.
Time to meet the men from the ministry. We present Richard Murdoch and Deryck Guyter in The Men from the Ministry, a weekly tribute to the men of our government service. Men who have often been accused of not knowing what good, hard work really is. To which they usually reply, what good is it? In the General Assistance Department, that eager executive, Richard Lamb, is always frank and fearless, always ready to lay all his cards on the table.
49, 50, 51, 52. There we are, Mildred. That's all the cards on the table.
Oh, you're not playing patience again. Last time you accused yourself of cheating and punched yourself on the nose.
Nonsense, Mildred. Anyway, I wouldn't play patience in ministry time. Oh, no. This is a conjuring trick.
Oh, yeah?
By my magic powers, I'm going to pick out the Queen of Hearts. Are you ready? There. Isn't that clever?
Well, that's the Queen of Hearts, all right. But shouldn't the cards be face down on the table?
Now, that'd make it much too difficult. I hate tricks that go wrong.
Now, what's this, too? Playing cards? Must I do all the work in this office?
Oh, come off it, one. I wrote a letter only last week. I do more than my share.
Yes, well, that may be your impression, too, but it isn't mine. I toil in this place from 12 in the morning till 4 at night. No wonder the permanent undersecretary feels I should have a medical checkup.
But we're all having checkups, Van.
Mr. Lamb and I have ours in the morning, sir.
Really? Oh, yes, well, I'm off to mine now. Oh, yes, of course. Senior starts this afternoon, the rest tomorrow.
Anyway, one, you look very fit.
Oh, yes, well, one tries to put up a show, too, you know. Yes, but I don't mind telling you, the stairs in the office seem a lot steeper these days. I can't run up the last flight like I used to.
You can still run down them when it's time to go home.
I'll just go straight home after the medical and take an aspirin, I think. I feel a cold coming on, and I've got a heavy day tomorrow.
The business efficiency exhibition?
No, we don't need to see that. No, I've a business lunch with Vicky Valentine. He's asked us to tie up the travel arrangements for this peace conference at Brighton.
Oh, you mean make sure all the foreign delegates get there?
Yes, tricky business. May need personal liaison. Wouldn't mind a few days in Brighton.
Funny place, Brighton. Old Rudge at the Board of Trade spent his honeymoon there.
Yes, so I heard. I gather he went down the corridor one night to have a bath, and when he came back, he couldn't remember which room he was in.
That's right. Hasn't seen his wife since.
Well, I'm going down for my medical. I hope this doctor's on the ball. I haven't felt too good lately. But I carry on, you know. Oh, yes, yes. Yes, I carry on.
Yeah, he carries on something chronic.
I'm afraid he's a hypochondriac, Mildred.
Well, I wouldn't mind that, but he always thinks he's ill.
Of course, it's just an excuse to pass all the work on to us.
He's always making a fuss about something. Yesterday he was grumbling about his liver.
Was he?
Yeah, said the canteen put too much gravy on it.
I'm afraid, Mr. Lennox Brown, I can't finish the examination unless you strip completely as everyone else does.
I'm sorry, Doctor, but I must refuse.
Well, having taken everything else off, I can't see why you object to removing that final item.
Please understand, madam, that I am not removing this bowler hat for anyone. There's a very nasty draft from the fanlight. Once I feel the slightest suspicion of a cold in my head, I do my utmost to stamp on it.
I must say, you haven't made my job any easier. When I tapped your knee, it was quite unnecessary for you to slap my hand.
A reflex action, madam. Now, may I put my clothes on again, please?
Before you do, I'd like to take another look at this. Stand there. Now, let me see. Yes, very unusual.
Surely not.
I'm afraid it is. You see, normally, people have only one.
Well?
You have two.
Yes, but they don't give me any trouble.
You don't find them awkward at any time?
Certainly not.
Well, I suppose civil servants have to have everything in duplicate.
Madam, please.
It really is most interesting.
But you don't have to stare like that. What a fuss about nothing. I've got a callus on each elbow. So what?
Well, you'd better get dressed now, Mr. Lennox Brown. I'm going to make a few notes about you.
Notes, eh? Oh, yes. I dare say you're going to recommend sick leave, huh? On full pay, of course. 6 months should do the trick, you know. A long sea voyage. The Bahamas, perhaps.
Quite the reverse.
Oh, you mean I should stay at home? Yes, well, you may be right. Gentle round of golf in the afternoon, a spot of bridge in the evening, a nourishing meal, a little wine, a little brandy.
Mr. Lennox Brown, you are A1.
Oh, do you think so? Yes, well, I'd like to let my hair down at the staff dance.
You are perfectly fit.
What? Fit? Perfectly fit?
And you'd be even fitter if you worked harder for longer hours.
Oh, dear. I'd better sit down. Quite fit, eh? Oh, well, there's nothing more to be said, then.
Absolutely nothing. You have a clean bill of health.
It's a bit of a shock. After all this time, one might have thought I'd be cracking up. I gave the best years of my life to the ministry, and now this. Perfectly fit, eh? There you are, you see. I knew it, yes, the cold. I have got a cold coming on.
With your rude health, you'll soon shake it off.
Oh, it's the central heating in this place, you know. It never works properly. One day too hot, next day too cold. It was out of date when Mr. Gladstone installed it.
Mr. Gladstone?
Obadiah Gladstone, the builder. Never had much faith in that firm.
Faulty central heating, eh? For once, I think there may be something in what you say. I've heard it makes some odd noises.
Well, I've been complaining about that central heating for years.
It could be very bad for the health of the staff.
Yes, I'm surprised they don't all get pneumonia.
I'll have Mr. Lamprey, the ministry's central heating expert, come over and take a look at it in view of your complaint.
I put the Brighton Peace Conference file on Mr. Lennox Brown's desk, Mr. Lamb.
Thanks, Mildred, but he's sure to pass on the job to me.
You know, he takes advantage of you, Mr. Lamb. You ought to spend some time giving him a piece of your mind. But I suppose you've got none to spare.
Yeah. What?
Just look in to tell you I'm off.
Right over. Oh, how did the medical go?
2. These things are supposed to be confidential.
I'm sorry.
Yes, let's just try and keep it that way, shall we?
Very well, Van, if that's how you feel.
Yes, it is, yes. What's the time, by the way?
3:45.
Infernal nuisance. I meant to go early today. Oh, by the way, I may be a shade late in the morning, too. I'm popping in to see my solicitor.
But that means that the office will be empty one. Mildred and I will be having our medicals with the doctor.
Never mind, you can put a notice on the door. Mr. Lamb and Miss Murphy not away being doctor. Oh.
And Mr. Lennox Brown is out soliciting. Right, old one.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Yeah, I wonder how he did get on with the doctor. He seemed ever so moody. Do you think he's all right?
Of course he's all right, Mildred.
I hope we don't have injections tomorrow. Do you remember the flu epidemic? They jabbed Mr. Smelly Brown of admin and he turned yellow. And when they jabbed Mr. Peddle of planning, he turned yellow. Did you turn yellow, Mr. Lamb?
No, green. I was yellow to start with.
Medicals can be so embarrassing. I mean, standing there without any... I mean, I can't imagine Sir Gregory having a medical. Oh. Yeah, yes, I can.
At my last medical, I had one of those awful sarcastic doctors. After he'd examined me, I said, "Tell me, doctor, how do I stand?" And he said, "It beats me."
Well, I'm going to settle down with me magazine and forget all about medicals till tomorrow morning.
Would you like the 10 o'clock appointment instead of me, Mildred?
No, thanks, Mr. Lamb. I don't mind waiting.
Pity. I hate being first in the surgery. I like to give the doctor's hands time to warm up.
Well, we'll neither of us be there by 10 o'clock if we don't hurry.
It's all right. The room's just round this next corner, where they usually keep all the pink forms waiting to be filled in.
I say, Mr. Lamb, from one lot of bare pink forms to another.
Oh. Oh, my word, Mildred, that is good. I must tell Mr. Lennox Brown that one.
He could do with something to cheer him up the way he looked yesterday after his medical.
Here we are, Mildred. Oh, dear, it's a woman, Doctor.
Well, go on in. The door's open.
I'm not sure if I wonder if...
Excuse me, is this the doctor's room?
Yes.
Do you mind if I go in ahead of you? She's called me in specially.
No, please do. I don't mind waiting. You go right ahead.
Oh, thank you. Excuse me, Doctor. My name's Lamprey.
Ah, Mr. Lamprey, come in. Good of you to call so promptly.
Thank you. I made a thorough examination, as you requested, and I thought I'd give you my opinion straight away.
Did you hear that, Mildred? Mr. Lamprey. She's obviously called in a specialist about somebody.
Yeah, you'd think they'd shut the door if they're going to talk about a patient, wouldn't you? I mean, people could overhear them.
Quite right, Mildred. It's disgraceful.
There's no privacy for anyone around here.
Mildred, how can I overhear when you're talking?
Now then, Mr. Lamprey, you're going to give me your opinion of Mr. Lennox Brown's complaint. What can we do about it?
Mildred, it's Mr. Lennox Brown.
Well, I don't think there's much we can do at this stage. It's too far gone.
He says he's too far gone.
Oh.
Whole system's an absolute wreck. All pipes are hopelessly furred.
No point in a bit of lagging round the bottom?
None. There are joints coming loose all over the place. Circulation's getting slower all the time.
No wonder Lennox Brown complained of feeling hot and cold.
Well, at first I thought we might insert a long-handled brush. Give all principal pipes a good pull-through.
That's an idea. Then flush out and seal up the cracks.
But I realize now it wouldn't work. There's nothing you can do once you get leakage on this scale. It's a pity I wasn't called in before.
Well, the first I knew of the trouble was when Mr. Lennox Brown came in yesterday. What will you recommend?
Once things have reached this stage, there's no point in telling people. Only create alarm and despondency.
Just let the old geezer go quietly downhill till the end.
It won't be long. I'll tell them to start discreetly looking round for a replacement.
Well, I mustn't detain you, Mr. Lamprey. Thank you for letting me know.
Not at all. I'll send in today's first patient, shall I?
Yes, please. It's, let me see, Mr. Lamb.
Funny. There was a chap here a moment ago. Oh, yes, there he is. He seems to be trying to hide behind the fire bucket.
Come along, Mr. Lamb. Drink this while it's hot. We don't want to lose both our top executives.
What a morning, Mildred. First that dreadful shock over poor Mr. Lennox Brown, and then that embarrassing experience with the doctor.
What happened exactly?
Well, she asked me about our office habits, and I told her we drank a lot of tea. Then she asked me for a specimen. Well, fortunately, I had some of our morning cup still left in my hip flask. So I went behind a screen and poured it into a test tube.
And 10 minutes later, she threw you out.
I still don't know why. I just can't think straight after hearing about poor L.B.
How right he was when he said he was off colour.
And we didn't even believe him. We called him a hypochondriac. Should we ever forgive ourselves?
Oh, don't you fret, Mr. Lamb. Now relax. That's why I brought you down the canteen.
You're right, Mildred. We must do all we can to make Mr. Lennox Brown's last days as happy as possible.
We must see he never knows what a mess he's in. How his pipes are furred and his joints are loose.
We must make sure his days are full of peace and fulfillment, and that he wears a cheerful smile when he finally hangs his brolly in that great ministry in the sky.
Oh, that's beautiful, Mr. Lamb.
12 o'clock, we must get back to the office. That poor brave soul will be there soon, fighting his lonely battle with destiny.
Yes, Mr. Lamb.
Bring the rest of those biscuits with you. We'll eat them upstairs. Whatever we do, we mustn't give Mr. Lennox Brown the slightest hint that anything's unusual.
Morning, two. Morning, Mildred.
Morning, one. What a lovely day. Let me take your briefcase. Sit in this nice comfy chair and put your feet up.
I've plumped up the cushion specially for you. Now, easy does it. There, let me hang up your coat.
Just a minute, Mildred. I'd like to take it off first.
Oh, my word, Mr. Lennox Brown. Always a merry quip, in spite of everything.
In spite of everything?
In spite of having to be in so early, yes. You ought to have a good lie-in the mornings, you know. Mildred and I can cope.
Yes.
Two, of all your peculiar moods, I dislike your sarcastic one most. It's 12:15. I told you I should be half an hour late today.
Well, what I say is you expect the head of a department to be late after all these years of work. We don't resent it.
No, we like to think of you as the late head of the department.
This place is more like a madhouse than ever. What's going on here?
No, the office is just as usual. There's nothing going on.
Well, what about work?
You mustn't worry about that one.
Worry? Well, I'm not worried.
Good. That's how it should be.
Yes, but someone had better fix this conference thing.
I'll do that one. We can't foist problems on a man in your condition. In your position.
Yeah, you've done enough for one day.
I've only just got in.
Don't overdo it, Mildred. He mustn't know.
No what?
No carbon paper. That's it, no carbon paper. We must order some from stationery.
There's a pile of it by your elbow.
By Jove, that was quick.
Well, I suppose you know what all this is about. Anyway, as you're so keen on work, you might as well handle this new job. There you are. It's all in this file.
Oh, thank you, Anne. It'll be a pleasure.
A privilege, sir.
Mildred and I clubbed together one and bought you today's copy of the Sporting Times.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I had a tip for the 2:30, as a matter of fact. Now, wait a minute, what was it? Let me see. The runners, here we are, yes. Coroner's Court, gone for good, feet first. What's the matter, Mildred?
It's nothing, man. She got her eyelashes caught in the typewriter again.
Well, all right, if you'll handle both these jobs, I'll go up to lunch with Vicky Valentine. Yes, I'll see you later.
Oh, I hope so, Mr. Lennox Brown. I do hope so.
Well, Mildred, now that he's gone...
Oh, don't say that, Mr. Lang.
I mean, now he's gone to his club. We've got to lay on travel and accommodation for those delegates. Somewhere near that big conference hall by the sea. You throw yourself into that. I'll deal with this new job in the file. This one's from the Ministry of Labour, something about permits for a group of international cabaret artists.
Oh, yeah.
They say they've been booked for some Soho club. I'll have to check that they go to the right place.
Well, I suppose work is a comfort at a time like this. We'll have to keep our noses up and our chins to the grindstone.
Yeah, quite, yes. Poor Mr. Lennox Brown. Somehow I just can't imagine this department without him.
Those were the days, my friend. Ooh, Mr. Lamb. Here, what are you doing at the Mr. Lennox Brown's desk, sitting in his chair and doodling on his pad.
Me? Yes, hello, Mildred. I didn't see you come in. Yes, well, as Mr. Lennox Brown's not here, I thought I'd have a swivel in his chair.
Oh, Mr. Lamb, how could you? Vulture, that's what you are. Can't wait to step into his shoes.
No, Mildred, honestly.
You'll be having your tea in his coronation mug next.
Just as one ought to be prepared, that's all.
Yeah, well, you've no right trying out his chair. You'll be better off keeping your own chair in order. It squeaked something horrid when I tried it out. Where is Mr. Lennox Brown, anyway?
He hasn't come in yet.
You know, I didn't see him yesterday afternoon, either.
No, they were coming round for a collection for old Tubby Crabfoot's wreath. So I thought I'd better get Elby out of the way. I sent him off to that cinema down the road.
Well, that wasn't a good idea. Do you know what's on?
No, what?
Death of a Salesman.
Oh, dear. Still, perhaps he was like me and just stayed for the cartoon and the ice cream ads.
You don't think he suspects we know?
Of course not, Mildred.
He hasn't done a stroke of work for a week.
Well, that's what we wanted, wasn't it? For him to go on just as usual. And we've dealt with those 2 jobs for him. I don't think he thought we'd be able to do it.
No. He keeps asking me if we've heard from the conference people yet.
And have we?
No, not yet.
No, don't worry. I'm at the helm now, Mildred, steering a true course.
Aye, Captain.
Richard Lamb steering, speaking.
Dr. Gribble here. Lamb, did you say? The man I saw last week.
That's right.
I had a word with the psychiatrist on Monday. He'd been most interested to meet you.
Dr. Gribble, I utterly reject your suggestion that there's something wrong with my brain. There's absolutely nothing in it. Besides, we were much too busy for that sort of thing in this department.
That brings me to the point of my call. I take it you're Mr. Lennox Brown's assistant.
Yes.
Then perhaps you're aware of his complaint.
Oh, yes, I knew about it. I didn't know you knew I knew. Do you know if he knows you know I know?
Are you sure you won't see that psychiatrist, Mr. Lamb?
Certainly not.
To get back to Mr. Lennox Brown's complaint.
Yes.
I'm ringing to say it's all over. His worries are finished.
Thank you. I'll make a note. All over? Mildred, Mr. Lennox Brown, it's all over.
Hello? Are you there?
Yes. Can you give us any details?
Bottom burst. Early this morning, apparently. We've been expecting it, of course. Whole system finally packed up.
Oh, poor Mr. Lennox Brown.
Oh, I shouldn't worry about him. No doubt he'll move off to somewhere warmer. No time to chat, I'm afraid. I've got to advise on the right type of replacement.
Replacement? So soon?
Naturally. Can't leave the office girls with no means of getting warmed up. Anyway, the point of my call is, will you please pass on the message? Good day.
That's that then. We're to tell everyone else, apparently.
Oh, poor Mr. Lennox Brown.
I think I'll cover his geranium.
Yeah, use that copy of Racegoers Roundup. He'd have liked that.
I suppose we'd better start collecting for a wreath.
We'll collect in his old tea caddy. He won't be needing that anymore.
No, the tea'll flow like milk and honey where he's gone. There's my little contribution.
What, all those foreign coins?
It's the thought that counts, Mildred.
Well, this is from me. It's not much, but tomorrow's payday.
Oh, there, Mildred. He wouldn't want to see you like this. Nose red, mascara running.
Morning, Joe. What on earth are you doing with that tin full of coin?
Hello, Mum. Collecting for a wreath for you. I don't know if you care to give... One, what are you doing here? Why are you still alive?
I beg your pardon, too.
The doctor one on the phone just now about your complaint.
Complaints, doctor?
We heard him say your pipes were all furred and your joints were loose.
Just a minute, Mildred. That must be my complaint about the central heating system.
Central heating?
Yes, of course. On the point of breaking down. In fact, it has broken down by the look of old Matthews in the porter's cubbyhole. He's never much of an asset to the ministry entrance with that old balaclava helmet. Now he's stuffed it with newspaper.
Oh, then you're not going to die?
Not till I've had 30 years of my pension, I assure you.
Honestly, one, what a rotten trick. And we've done all the work in this office for a week.
Yeah, both them big jobs. the foreign delegates and the cabaret artistes. We sent the peace delegates to that club in Soho, and the cabaret artists...
Mildred.
Yes?
What are you saying?
Pardon?
Well, the delegates were for the peace conference in Brighton. And you sent them to Soho? To a nightclub? General Assistance Department, Lennox Brown.
Maxie Burns here, the Blue Banana Nightclub.
The Blue Banana Nightclub. In Soho, I suppose.
Yeah, you got it in one, Lenny boy. It's about this European lot you sent us.
Yes, I thought it might be. Now, look, the point is, Mr. Burns...
Where'd they come from, Lenny boy?
I've been away, you see.
They're the greatest act I've ever seen.
My assistant, who isn't entirely responsible for his actions, has made it so... What?
Yeah, sensational. I opened the cabaret with my regulars, the four sophisticates, a song, a smile, and a G-string, and then your lot comes on.
Then my lot comes on.
A slow start, of course. They just sat and looked at the audience. Then one geezer gets up and starts speaking in some cod foreign chat. Talk about love. Well, this other one keeps interrupting him. Then they start fighting.
Fighting? A peace delegate,
Yeah, they're thumping each other with briefcases, aren't they? Of course, the audience goes wild. I'm booking them for the rest of the month. Then we do a tour.
I don't want to know any more.
You mean you won't even take 5%?
No, thanks. Goodbye. If you sent the peace delegates to a nightclub...
Yeah. Then the international cabaret troupe must have gone to the... Oh, Lord.
And here is the news read by John Curl. There were amazing scenes at today's opening of the Brighton Peace Conference. The first foreign delegate began the proceedings by declaring, in a somewhat sing-song manner, "I want the sun in the morning and the moon at night." He repeated this demand several times. In his reply, the Prime Minister condemned this selfish attitude to the space race. Another speaker appeared dressed in a lion skin, apparently his national costume, and swallowed 3 knives and 2 swords. Next delegate, a young lady clad only in an ostrich feather, then danced across the stage to tumultuous applause. The Foreign Secretary said he earnestly hoped they'd see more of her.
Oh, switch it off, too. Of all the dunderheaded, incompetent, nitwitted... Oh, just because I was dying for a few days, you thought you could get away with murder.
Sorry, One, we must have mixed the files up.
We were so upset, sir.
Look, One, have your caddy back, and tomorrow I'll fill it with best tea.
Oh, no. You'll need that for collecting money, too. For the wreath.
But no one's going to need a wreath now.
You think so, too?
One, no, put that ebony ruler down. Don't throw that typewriter. Remember what happened last time. You do it. No, stop, please don't run.
Muddling through as the men from the Ministry were Richard Murdoch and Deryck Guyter. Also featured were Norma Ronald, John Graham and Joan Sanderson. The programme was written by Edward Taylor and John Graham and produced by Edward Taylor.